Welcome, everybody, tonight. My name is Dr. Kat, and you'll be hearing from me a little bit later on, but I'm here to introduce you tonight to Dr. Kathleen Kangas. She is a military wife, a mom of 2 boys, and a stepmom to 4 girls. She owns a part-time physical therapy practice specializing myofascial release and women's health in Panama City, Florida. She has been growing her LifeVantage micro franchise for the better part of 13 years and was recently recognized for cumulative group sales of over 15 million. She's an executive leader in our company and a business mentor of mine and to many others as well. And all of this is done while she lives a very busy mom life, maintaining her fitness and helping women recover from chronic pain and dysfunction. And so without further ado, I turn it over to you, Kathleen.
Thank you. Let me go ahead and share my screen, everybody. We're going to go back in time to 2005 when ABC News did a primetime investigative report on this small biotech company out of Colorado. And we know it's antiquated, but we love to share it because it's a critical part of our story. And then we will catch you up to speed as to what we're doing in relationship to this information.
The following is an ABC primetime investigative report that aired in 2005.
You want to get an edge on turning back the clock with just a few pills? Who doesn't? Well, it's no longer science fiction, but science possibility, a potential breakthrough. As I found out firsthand, there may be a way to erase years, at least inside my body. Granted, it's down the road, but some scientists are wondering if a new pill I took might offer a very long life. It may not look like the fountain of youth, but inside this nondescript building, I'm about to become part of an exciting experiment, a kind of guinea pig.
Dr. McCord, okay.
I'm here at the University of Colorado in Denver to meet Dr. Joe McCord, a world-renowned scientist.
That's pretty exciting stuff you're finding, huh?
It is. We're very excited about it.
His latest research could very well unravel the mystery of aging itself. And his decades of experiments may have the potential of adding years to people's lives and possibly prevent chronic diseases like cancer, diabetes, and heart disease. It all centers around this small yellow pill, and for me, it begins with a blood test.
And this is going to get there we go.
It wouldn't be the first time I've given blood for this company.
They want to check my levels of something called T-bars, which is a rough indicator of a person's actual age. T-bars can identify a condition known as oxidative stress, a kind of measure of the wear and tear on our bodies. Oxidative stress, like the rusting of an engine, is not a good thing.
Bad for the body,
Leading to disease.
leading to disease and leading to malfunction, and importantly, leading to what we call aging. It is a slow progression of increasing oxidative stress. That's the main characteristic biochemically of the aging process.
The problem of aging begins with the very food we eat to give us energy. As our cells burn that food, they also release toxic chemicals. Those chemicals, you may know them as free radicals, react with all the components of our cells, literally bombarding them millions of times per second, damaging all our cells. The result? Oxidative stress. And we all have it. The body fights back with a system of defenses. It makes 2 antioxidant enzymes, catalase and SOD, whose job is to gobble up the free radicals before they can harm our cells. But as we get older, some of those toxic radicals overwhelm our enzymes and wreak their havoc. For a long time, scientists thought that antioxidant vitamins like C and E would lower it. But they don't.
As it's turned out in just the last 5 years or so, we see that they're not good enough tools. They're not powerful enough.
But this pill, he says, is powerful enough. In fact, many times more powerful.
So, doctor, how often do I take these?
And so, here I go. With that swallow, I've just become part of a potentially landmark scientific experiment.
Doesn't taste bad.
It's called Protandim, and tests on both mice and humans have already shown that it revs up the manufacture of those good enzymes in our bodies. More enzymes, fewer free radicals to harm us. Whether that will lead to longer life is still unknown. Experiments to see if mice live longer are about to get underway. but it's a tantalizing theory.
Right now, all we know is that this preparation decreases oxidative stress. Oxidative stress is not a disease, just like aging is not in itself a disease, but it's something that accompanies and is attached to many disease processes.
Have you discovered the fountain of youth?
I wouldn't put it that way, but we may have discovered something that will tell us a lot more about how we age, what happens biochemically, and maybe how we can slow it down. So you can see the age-related.
Normally, oxidative stress, measured by those T-bars, increases with age. But in Dr. McCord's tests, taking just one pill of Protandim a day reversed that trend for everyone at every age, even for an 80-year-old.
They all are reduced to the level of oxidative stress that one would expect, frankly, in a newborn or a very young child.
Back to the oxidative stress levels of a child? It sounds too good to be true. Will Protandim work on me? But what about my progress? After nearly 2 weeks now, it's time to get my results. Dr. McCord calculates the numbers. The result, my level of oxidative stress has declined dramatically.
35%, that's excellent.
Just look at where I fall on the graph, before and after.
Which, if extrapolated back, is the level you would see in a newborn baby.
Have we turned back the clock? Well, maybe not on the outside, but deep inside within my cells. Yes, indeed.
So that's an ABC News clip from 2005. That's just a shortened clip of it. If you want to see the whole thing, you can go to YouTube and just look up Protandim ABC News clip and see the whole thing. But I'm going to start by asking you a question, and that is, had you ever heard of oxidative stress prior to seeing that news clip? I hadn't, and I'd been in the health industry my entire adult life, and I had never actually heard that term. So I'm just going to review what it is, why we have this, why it's relevant to the bigger conversation around leveraged income. So oxidative stress is damage to the cells of our body. It's normal cells turned abnormal. You can see a picture of a cell here, but you can also imagine this being an apple that gets cut open, you leave it out, and it turns brown. That's oxidative stress, and it can lead to brain fog and headaches and migraines, insomnia, anxiety, lots of things, every breakdown you can imagine in your body. But what causes it? Well, everybody take a deep breath. And you just created more oxidative stress in your body. So we can't quite avoid that. But it's also the food that we eat, the chemicals in our water, the pesticides in our food, too much exercise, too little exercise, environmental toxins, EMFs, Wi-Fi, medications. There's really no way around it. This is escalating that increase in oxidative stress that's connected to every single breakdown that can happen in your body. In fact, the updated number, and it's probably higher right now, is 380,907 studies linking oxidative stress to every system, your eyes, your heart, your skin, kidney, joints, everything. So if you're ever curious if it's related to something, you can go to something called pubmed.gov and look up blank and oxidative stress. So you may have noticed that John Quinones, when he took Protandim, his oxidative stress was reduced by 45% in just 2 weeks. That was absolutely incredible. The first study that was done on Protandim showed that taking one Protandim a day can reduce oxidative stress an average of 40% just in 30 days, and then continues over time, taking the stress off your cells so you can function better. Now, to my knowledge, now this is me just 13 years in, there has yet to be another company or product that can legally make that claim today. And we can make that legally to reduce oxidative stress an average of 40%. Now, here's the problem. People are pretty tuned into supplements and eating well. You'd have to eat 400 oranges, 500 cups of broccoli, 120 vitamin C tablets a day to do what Protandim does in your body. So we call it like a 1-to-1 ratio. It's like taking Dixie cups of water to put out a house fire. And it's because our body produces about 300 septillion free radicals every single day. We're constantly being bombarded by that. It's like your house being on fire. But when you take Protandim, it's not a supplement. It's not a Dixie cup. It's more like a sprinkler system. It literally turns on a switch called your NRF2 pathway, NRF2 like the football. And when that happens, your body starts producing antioxidants very powerfully like you did when you were younger. So instead of 1-to-1, it's more like 1,000,000 to 1 every second per second. Now, if you want a visual of this, ask yourself, if your house was on fire, AKA your body, are you going to use Dixie cups to try to put it out? Would you ever get ahead of it? Probably not, but you'd prefer a nice up-to-date modern sprinkler system with the fire department on hand. And that is literally what Protandim does. So the question is, who needs that? I hope that you're thinking everybody, like you're thinking, oh my gosh, everybody needs to know that. And that's the exact thought that I had when I really learned about oxidative stress and what Protandim can do. Now, where it all started was 2005. It used to say, for more information, go to abcnews.com, and everybody did. And literally $5 million of orders came into this small biotech company overnight, and there was zero marketing, no marketing systems in place. They had no infrastructure for that kind of demand. And I just want to ask you, if any of you have a business of your own, if you had this happen to you, ABC News comes in, they're there to probably find something negative. They did not here. And would you be able to handle all that exposure? LifeVantage was not prepared for this. However, doctors and researchers from all over the world called LifeVantage and said, we want to study that little yellow pill that can reduce oxidative stress an average of 40%. So today there are over 28 peer-reviewed papers and studies just on this one product, our foundation product of our company. We had LSU that did a skin cancer study with the Skin Cancer Foundation. That propelled the company to create a topical NRF2 activator, a highly, highly anti-aging skincare line. The first study showed that Protandim could reduce oxidative stress an average of 40%. We have the American Heart Association and Ohio State, which did a study showing a decrease in scar tissue when Protandim was introduced. You can go and look at that study at PubMed, and they put that out in Circulation Journal to all the American Heart Association members. It's the first time they'd ever really supported a study like that on a natural product. Even the National Institute of Aging showed that Protandim increased lifespan in their animal model. Comparing Protandim with other things like green tea, resveratrol, omegas, and lots of things you might be familiar with, there was actually a significant increase in lifespan. So what happened? Okay, all these things were happening, and they ended up putting the Protandim in the stores like GNC, CVS, apothecaries all over the country. It sat on the shelf next to vitamin C, which is a very common antioxidant. And it was not an antioxidant. However, because Protandim was really in its own category as an activator, they didn't have anywhere else to put it. It was $50 sitting on the shelf next to vitamin C for $10. What do you think people bought? Okay, they don't even know what oxidative stress is. So they didn't do that well in the stores. They only did about 3 million a year. 4 years into this, in 2009, they bring in a business consultant who takes a look at this ABC News clip, the whole thing, and says, this is absolutely incredible. We can leverage, buzzword of tonight, leverage this ABC News clip to get this word out differently. Okay, just like if you go to a hairdresser or a good physical therapist or chiropractor or anybody, you're likely to just turn around and tell somebody about it. That's called word of mouth marketing, okay? Or network marketing. And today we really call it a micro franchise. That's really the modern term for this. So anyway, the company pulls the product off the shelves. They put it in this new platform, micro franchising, okay, extending this information out through our networks of friends and people that we know. And they went to 11 million in the first year. Okay. They were not doing that. 3 million a year, they went to 11 million. Today, we're about $250 million company in about 30 countries all around the world. And you might be hearing about this for the very first time. So LifeVantage is a publicly traded company on the NASDAQ. Why is that important? It's because everything is transparent. In this space, there are a lot of companies that move products through a similar kind of platform, and they're private. So you don't always know what's going on at the top. And can you imagine building a big business and then all of a sudden the CEO decides to sell the company, you didn't even know it, and the next day you've lost your business? I love that we don't have to deal with that. In fact, our company was invited a couple of times to close the bell, do the closing bell on Wall Street. So we definitely have that exposure, nationally and internationally. We are a debt-free company today. We've sold over 2 billion in Protandim products around the world. We were featured in Entrepreneur Magazine as a stock to buy, as one of the most fundamentally strong impactors of the healthcare sector. We have multiple patents on our product, but that means our products are protected. Nobody's going out there and just doing a copycat Protandim. So that's great. We have all these PubMed studies. We've been featured in Newsweek a couple of times. We have a compensation plan that recently our company spent millions and millions of dollars to literally evolve, and we call it evolve, to represent the current times and what people are looking for in an entrepreneurial opportunity. We're going to talk about our culture, and we're going to talk about trends here, but you can see over here on the right, the Newsweek magazine. That's just a couple of things about the company. And like I said, we're in over 30 countries today. I think this is not totally updated, but I think we're about to open another one, Portugal, I do believe. So again, we started in Colorado, then the US, and here we are all around the world now. Now let's go over the products. Of course, this is our foundation product right here, Protandim NRF2 Synergizer, lowers oxidative stress an average of 40%. It's made up of 5 plant ingredients: turmeric, milk thistle, green tea, ashwagandha, and bacopa. Most people would say, wow, those are incredible ingredients, okay? And Dr. Kat will verify that. She's going to share here shortly. But that's actually not the unique thing about Protandim. It is this right here. The ingredients at very low doses, not therapeutic doses, subtherapeutic if you broke it apart, but when they put it together, it created something called synergy. That's why we call it Protandim NRF2 Synergizer. It created an 18-fold increase in the expression of the antioxidant enzyme that it activates through the NRF2 pathway. That is huge. Think about if you had the ingredients laid out to make a cake, right? You got your eggs, your oil, your sugar, your flour. They're all different substances until you put them together and it made something totally different. And that's what Protandim is. That is why we were able to get patents on plants, because we created that cake that nobody else could make, and it was different than the individual ingredients. So what else can we activate today? We have gone on to find other pathways. We have become the activation company. I love the name of that, right? We are the activation company. We're not the supplement company, the activation company. We found an NRF1 pathway, which turns on your mitochondrial function. And we've also activated your NAD pathway. This is very similar to fasting. When people fast, it activates this NAD molecule to help with cellular longevity and autophagy. You don't need to get into all the science of all that, but it's a really, really good thing for your cellular health. Now, another synergistic thing that happened when all 3 of these Protandim products came together, we had something else. They exponentially increased the potency of the other. This is why today you can take Protandim Tri-Synergizer. You activate the NRF2 pathway for oxidative stress, your NRF1 pathway to turn on your cellular runners, I like to call them, and activate the NAD pathway for cellular longevity and autophagy to clean things out. We can activate your collagen pathways. Now, you are surely familiar with collagen that you buy at the store. It's usually a powder, maybe it's a liquid, but they are not all created equally. Usually there's 1 or 2 different types of collagen in that supplement. And that is actually not even fully absorbable. They say powder is about 10 to 30% absorbed, where our liquid collagen is about a 90% absorption rate. It's made up of it does 3 things. So it doesn't just replenish your collagen. It has 10 different types of collagen peptides. There's another buzzword, peptides, okay? And to support collagen density, elasticity, and moisture in your tissues, your skin, your joints, your eyes, your gut. It really affects everything. We also have an ingredient there that activates your collagen pathways to build up your collagen that has been broken down. And then we also have the maintain component of our collagen, which slows down the breakdown of your current collagen. So it activates, replenishes, and maintains. This is very unique in the marketplace. I love this picture specifically. The activator component of this collagen shows this collagen density increase over an 8-week period. Can everybody see that? That just blows my mind. This is the piece about the absorption rate. You want, if you're going to spend the money, get something that your body actually absorbs. And it absorbs because the pieces are broken down. They're called hydrolyzed collagen. It's chopped up into smaller pieces so your body doesn't have to break them down, so it doesn't get wasted. And here are some results. It's very easy to see the results on the outside. A lot of people will say they feel it on the inside too. Their joints feel better. Their gut is better. Men and women, any part of your body. This is why we suggest if you start using our collagen to take lots of pictures, even your hands, because you may not see those subtle changes over time, but if you take those pictures, you definitely will. There's some pictures of legs over here. If you've ever seen like crepey skin as we age and under the neck and everything, big changes. Very unique. When you combine a Protandim NRF2 with a liquid collagen, we call this the healthy glow stack. This is my go-to as a wellness consultant within my practice, because the people that I see are dealing with things like chronic pain and inflammation and dysfunction. So these are kind of like the go-to that I share with people. These two also have a synergistic combination. There's an incredible study on this to show the reduction of cellular stress or the resilience of your cells to stress. So this is one of our most popular bundles. We make peptides. Buzzword, peptides. This PhytoPower is a drink. It's made up of 84 different ingredients, including lots of greens, lots of fruits, lots of probiotics, postbiotics, prebiotics, and it activates 14 specific peptides in your gut to regulate your gut, repair your gut, and restore function. And the gut, it manages a lot. Dr. Kat, again, she might speak to this, I don't know, but your immune health, your brain, your mood, everything starts with your gut. And you can think of this as like an offense and defense when you're combining this with Protandim. So this is called our Healthy Edge Stack, combining Protandim with PhytoPower 1 and 2. The offense is restoring communication and keeping your systems agile and strong, where Protandim is your defense, protecting your cells from the hits life throws your way. You could probably think of one of those right now. We have Axio, which is our smart energy. I love this. This is really a executive function nootropic. I've heard Dr. Kat say that, and I invited Dr. Kat on here because she is a functional medicine doctor, and I will introduce her shortly. But it really is. This will improve your mental endurance, mental acuity, concentration, memory retention, enhances neurotransmitter function, activates these things. So think about it as like reducing brain stress. You probably resonate with the word brain fatigue, right? We get that at the end of the day. And it also impacts mood. My kids use this drink. I use this drink every day, and there's caffeinated and decaf versions. Just last week, our company launched a brand new Axio. It's called Axio X. I'm not going to go into it too much, but it's like next level energy. This truly is that energy drink that competes and wants to replace the Monsters and the 5-Hour Energies and Red Bulls of the world. Look at some of these ingredients. If you can see them on the screen, it does have L-theanine and rhodiola. It's got adaptogenic mushrooms, a slew of vitamin B complex, complete B vitamin complex, It's got natural caffeine, a probiotic blend. It actually incorporates gut health into the energy. So that is a really unique piece. This just came out, super exciting. So these are our main activators. We take them to make them, okay? We take it to make it. Very unique. We're not just taking it to supplement something. We're taking it to empower the body to make what's already there. There are some other products. I'm going to highlight some of these here. One is we do have some weight management products. One is our mind-body GLP-1 system. This does activate the GLP-1 hormone in the gut when used together with lifestyle, diet, increased water consumption, exercise. The results of this are pretty incredible. I'll just show these here. This is a 2-part system, 2 pills and a powder that you can drink with water, drink in a smoothie. I've been using this product for well over a year, and I can tell you I don't have a weight problem, but I have a food noise problem, and I didn't know I had it. I didn't know that I could not think about food all day long, but I used to. So it's been life-changing for me, and I love it. It really gives me satiety. I feel fuller sooner. I can stop eating when I'm full, whereas before there was kind of like there was a slowdown between my gut and my brain, and I would sometimes overeat and then not feel well. We have a metabolic enhancer called fat burn. In the 16-week placebo-controlled study on the main ingredient here, they found that it increased resting caloric expenditure by 180 calories a day. It's just a nice tool that you can use in conjunction with your weight management plan. And new product alert number 2, this also just came out this week. This is PhytoPower B that can be used to support healthy weight management by reducing sugar absorption when you do have one of those meals that's just a little overkill. Say your Thanksgiving, your holidays, maybe your Friday night. So it helps slow down sugar absorption, so you have steady energy without the crashes and you feel less sluggish after a high carb meal. So they call it a carb blocker. We have Protandim for dogs. I'm just going to say this, it's like a chewable treat, and oxidative stress does affect your pet just like it does us. It affects their joints and inflammation, their gut and all these things. So this is fantastic. It's the only nerve 2 activator on the market for dogs. We do have some individual gut health products, probiotic, prebiotic. We have a postbiotic, our immune health drink. It's just a healthy dose of your 5 main immune ingredients. So it's a nice berry flavor. I love to drink this at night. It's like a nice tea. We have some timed nutrients. These are supplemental products, but they are unique in the way that you get the right nutrients in the morning for energy. You get the right nutrients in the evening to help your body settle down. And we do have a D3 plus. We know most people are depleted in that. An omega plus product, which is very, very clean, bottled within 8 hours of the fish being caught. You can literally bite right into this capsule and swallow the oil. So you're not going to have any fish burps and just a disgusting flavor. This is quite good. An Icy Bright is our brain and vision complex. This is fantastic if you are aging and noticing a change in your eyes. Your eyes are also being damaged by oxidative stress, being damaged by being in front of your phone, in front of your computer, all the blue lights. It's it's just there. So use your blue light glasses and take Icy Bright. And then this is the evolution of that LSU skin cancer study. This is the current True Science anti-aging skincare line. It's a 4-piece regimen. It's lovely. The little red bottle here is a plant-based retinol, essentially. And then we have a very clean sunscreen. This is the best sunscreen I've ever used on my face. I live in Florida, so we use this a lot, and it's super smooth. You can use it with your regular makeup, your regular skincare. No, it's not sticky. There's no white residue. And then we have also an anti-aging hand cream. And lastly, we have a hair care system that activates the NRF2 pathway, uses that same technology for your scalp. So if you're having issues with your scalp, too dry, too oily, some kind of weak hair growing in, this will really fix that. So there's our beautiful product line. And this is where I want to introduce Dr. Kat, because Dr. Kat's been working with incredible products for years and years and years and years. Okay. Her background is she's actually a chiropractor and been practicing for over 25 years. I'm going to bring her back on the full screen here in just a moment. And she's owned her own business for 19 years. She's a board certified pediatric and prenatal chiropractic care and a certified functional medicine practitioner through the Institute of Functional Medicine. Her mission is to help people achieve better health and empower the gift of life from preconception onward. She's our baby chiro. She's been married for 20 years. She has 2 boys. And she and her husband homeschool their 2 boys. She's an avid traveler. She's going to Thailand soon on an incentive trip she won with this amazing company. She's a gluten-free foodie. She's an autoimmune warrior, and she's had a product experience as well has become an executive leader in our company and recently was invited to be an appointee on the Scientific Advisory Board for LifeVantage. Wow. There she is.
That's hilarious.
Welcome, Dr. Kat.
Oh, that's so weird to hear about yourself. What did you want me to share about with regards to the products?
Yes. Well, I mean, I guess two things. One, would love to hear your product story. How did this come into your hands? And now here you are so many years later. What's your bird's eye view, when you look at what we have in a product line?
Sure. So I actually, I would tell you, like, truthfully, I didn't even try the products before I partnered with the company. And that's because there is research here. There is a validated scientific research. Our products are not on trial. They've been studied. They have patents. Universities and institutions with far more credentials than I have, like Harvard, Vanderbilt, Louisiana State. I mean, I don't have those credentials. They did that work, so that's great. But really, what caught my eye once I stepped back and could take that 30,000-foot view is from a product perspective, the ability to access leverage, like you said. For me, that's my favorite word to describe what we have here with these products. It does not mean you don't need to eat well or exercise or sleep or get sunshine, have some sort of spiritual, pursuit in your life. What it means is that we have really intelligent biology, and it's easier to work with that intelligent design than it is to kind of just, I think, work against it. A lot of supplements, and some supplements are needed. So again, no argument there, but supplementation is a little more archaic. It's, 1940s, 1950s. And you have to almost be so precise to know exactly how much depletion someone has in their body. And that requires oftentimes lab work. And there are barriers to access to that for a lot of people. And so there are a fair amount of people who are basically wasting money, adding to their bodies. And that is extra work for your body. So if you're not even good at hydration or you're already depleted in energy, that just requires a lot of energy. So what I love about activation, even though it's not meant to be a cure-all, it's this beautiful kind of, imagine it, instead of adding to your body, kind of flipping a switch. I said to somebody the other day, like, the reason why your dose and my dose and most everybody's doses, unless you're, beyond 300, 350 pounds, our doses are the same. Why? Because we have the same pathways, and all we need is to flip the switch. So if I turn on my light, I cannot turn it more on than on. And so I take one collagen and one Nerf 2. You take one collagen, one Nerf 2. You take it, you get a car, you get a car. So I love that about our products. And so scientifically validated, proven to do what they do, incredible leverage. More than adding to the body, we're telling the body to turn back on to do what it's beautifully designed and programmed to do. There you go.
I don't know if I could explain it any more beautifully than that. And I love how you said, our biology is so intelligent and we're just working with it instead of, trying to add something and, so precise to it. I love that.
You can't outsmart it. We really can't.
You can't outsmart it. Exactly. Ah, it's beautiful. Okay. Thank you, Dr. Kat.
All right. So our first guest is a physical therapist. He's a myofascial release therapist. Actually, he is an author. He's a dad. He's an incredible husband, and he is a lover of these products. And I know he's shared with so many people, had his own experiences. So I asked him to come in from Maryland. Phil Tavolachi, are you here?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Welcome. Yes. Thank you for being our first guest to share with us. I'm going to just turn it over to you. We'd love to hear a little bit about your personal experience and your experience with your family and maybe some of your clients. I am assuming that you share these with them as well, but thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thank you for inviting me here, and thanks for that great overview. So, I came across this information just a little bit over 10 years ago. A friend and colleague shared that ABC News report that you shared with us tonight. And she didn't even know I had been dealing with a respiratory issue for 2 years at that point that was really impacting my life. I was exposed to mold, and it was really wreaking havoc in my body, and nothing I was trying was making a difference. I saw that information and I just thought, oh my gosh, what if reducing the oxidative stress in my body and like putting out the fire in my lungs would make a difference? And very long story short, 4 months in of just taking Protandim Nerf 2, because it was the only activator out at that point, that whole 2-year issue turned around. And like you mentioned earlier, Marci, I'm not saying that it cured or treated or prevented or mitigated anything. It's just what unfolded in my physiology. But it really opened up my awareness as a physical therapist. Like, everyone I work with is inflamed. Everyone has these issues. And I certainly wanted to share and educate about it. And I've been activated in taking most of these products for almost 10 years now. And in addition to the Protandim Nerf 2, I'll just very quickly highlight that the most recent activator, the liquid collagen activator, was again life-changing for me, because at the end of 2021, I had a flare-up of spinal pain, and I've had some spinal issues my whole life. I've, had some injuries when I was younger. And my spine was doing, mostly well for this last decade because of activation and everything I do. But at the end of 2021, it really flared up. Nothing was helping it. I was on like 7 months of really dealing with a lot of intense discomfort. It was impacting my work. It was impacting my life. I saw the collagen activator came out and I was like, oh my gosh, I know activation works. I know collagen is hugely impactful in the body. I mean, I work in the connective tissue system, and collagen is one of the main components of connective tissue. So I was just thinking, this could be a possible solution for me again. And within about 5 weeks of activating my collagen, that issue drastically reduced, in a couple more weeks and it was gone. And so these products are unparalleled. And so, yes, of course, my parents are on them. A lot of my patients take these products. I'll briefly mention my parents. They've been activated as long as I have been now, just a bit over 10 years. And so much has unfolded for them. I wouldn't possibly want to take the time to go into all of it, but I'll highlight one thing because I think it really speaks to what you mentioned early on in your presentation, in that our bodies are always moving towards balance and harmony and health, but sometimes there are barriers in the way. And my parents, for most of their adult lives, my mom was dealing with a deficiency in iron and, some of the things that come along with it. My dad was on the opposite end of the spectrum. He had an overabundance of iron and had to go and actually have his, blood drained every 2 to 3 months to remove that iron. They started activating in 2013 along with me. And within a year, my mom's iron went up and normalized. My dad's iron came down and normalized. And so it's just a perfect example of the body finding its way back to balance, no matter where it is, when you take those straitjackets of stress and inflammation and other challenges off of it. And I've seen similar responses in my patients over the years. Again, just a myriad of different positive things unfolding when the body's empowered to do what it naturally does. So that's what I'll share with everyone tonight.
Wow. Thank you so much, Phil. I'm so happy for all of your experiences, and for those that we don't even know yet and haven't even heard their stories. But thank you so much for sharing with us. I love the way you just put everything. Amazing. I like a body going into that state of balance. And clearly, like, between both, what happened with both of your parents, they must be meant to be together for sure on every level. Thank you, Phil.
Thank you.
And I know we have the friend that you connected with here with us. So it's Dr. Michelle Libman for Stuart, Florida. She's double board certified in emergency room medicine and in internal medicine. She has she and her husband own urgent care and take care of first responders. She's an incredible doctor, extremely philanthropic, and was very allopathic in her approach. And I've very much enjoyed watching her learn about activation and start using it not only with she and her family, but also with her patients. So, Dr. Michelle Libman, are you here with us?
I am. Thank
Oh, there you
you.
are. Hi, welcome. So excited to hear what you have to share. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me. So my journey with the LifeVantage product started about 5 years ago. As Marci mentioned, my husband and I owned several medical businesses. We actually were expanding our business and had taken out a large amount of money to start a new company. And unbeknownst to us, we were actually victims of fraud, and we had a lot of money stolen from us. And it was a very difficult time in our lives. We were under extreme stress. I wasn't eating very well. I wasn't sleeping very well. And I found myself getting very run down and sickly. I would literally go to work on Monday, and by Wednesday, I was home in bed. The stress was just devastating me. And as it happened, I turned old, 50, and I noticed that my eyes were getting dry. So I made an appointment to see my ophthalmologist, who's a good friend and extremely well-respected physician in the community. And as he was telling me about all these supplements I needed to take for my eyes, he mentioned zinc and lutein, and he happened to mention NRF2 activation, asking if I knew about it. And I was actually embarrassed to admit I had never heard of it. So he actually asked me to look it up because him and his wife and his whole family were taking it, and they felt amazing. And all I heard was they felt amazing, and I knew that I felt so lousy. So I was excited to start researching it, and I did go to PubMed.gov, which is, where physicians usually go to do research. And I saw all the science, and the science wasn't on the specific ingredients. The science was on the actual product, the Protandim. So I started to take it, and I actually had another employee in my office who was also having problems with her health. And we both started taking it at about the same time. And I was told that the older you are, the more oxidative stress that you've accumulated. So to give the product 1 month per decade that you've been alive. So for both of us, it was actually 5 months. So I just started taking it, and I figured I'd just, recheck back in about 5 months. But at about the 3-month mark, my coworker came running into my office because she was so excited because she had been suffering with all these allergies and sinus problems. She had flown to Boston to see her daughter and flown back, and she didn't get sick. And she stated that she could never get on a plane without getting sick. And then I started looking back, and I realized I wasn't really missing work anymore. I was well enough. I noticed my energy was better. I didn't need as much sleep. So I was thrilled. And then she asked if we can start taking her off some of her medication. So we started weaning her off her medication. And that was 5 years ago. And she's never had to go back on any of her medication. I then started my entire family on these products, including my elderly parents, my husband. He had an accident where he fell and he developed a huge hematoma on his leg, which got infected, and he had to have surgery, and he ended up on antibiotics for a long period of time. And that just wreaked havoc in his gut. And he ended up with chronic diarrhea. So of course I started him on the probiotic, which helped. And then when the collagen came out, people were mentioning that it was helping them with their sleep. And that was an issue that my husband really struggled with. So I actually gave him the collagen to help him with his sleep. But unbeknownst to me, he was still actually having a little bit of issues with his gut, and the collagen completely, I know I'm not allowed to say cured, but completely improved his gut health, whereas he no longer suffers from any issues like that. He also had a condition with his skin where it felt like chicken skin. It was very rough. And that completely went away as well. His skin is as smooth as a baby's bottom. So I also started sharing the products with my patients. As Marci said, I was very allopathic, and now my mind has been opened. I'm much more open to holistic treatments. I've had patients who have gotten off several types of medication. I've had a patient get off oxygen. I've seen some amazing things happen. People's lives have really been transformed by these products.
Wow. Well, thank you so much for sharing, for being here, for your openness. And I mean, I know we have the LifeVantage is attracting more and more and more very, very prestigious, shall I say, and competent physicians that are getting on board here and understanding that really activating the body and tapping into our whole gene makeup is really the future of wherever everything's heading. So I know you're going to be pioneering that at the beginning and into the future. So thank you for being here. Really appreciate you.
You, Marci.
Okay, well, here's another pioneer she's working in a different space in Washington, D.C. She's an engineer. She's on the board of the Business School of Maryland. She is just an incredible human, and we met through our children. And Lisa Anderson, incredible experience with the products. I asked her to come in and share. Lisa, are you here, my friend?
I'm here.
There you are. Hi, Lisa.
Hey, how are you?
Good. So maybe you can tell us a little bit about your experience.
Absolutely. Well, about 16 years ago, when I turned 40, my body wasn't ready for that. I started having excruciating joint pain. I was going through a lot of things in my personal life, but this pain was a physical, it was just debilitating. It roamed all over my body. I really didn't know what the heck was going on. And my joints would literally lock up. My arm was, locked up to the point where I couldn't do my daughter's hair. At the time, I was living in Atlanta, Georgia, and my mom actually had to come from Washington, D.C. to sort of help me out with the kids. And I finally got diagnosed back in 2007, and the diagnosis resulted in taking an injection every 2 weeks in my stomach. And, fast forward, I moved back home to DC, and that's when I met Marci. And, she showed me this ABC News report that you guys saw earlier and told me about the power of activating your body and LifeVantage and the Protandim, how it fights the free radicals. So after hearing about the science and learning about the published research, I really jumped right in and started taking it. And that was about 7 years ago, taking the NRF2 and the NRF1. And subsequently, when we added the NAD, my favorite product is this Tri-Synergizer packet, activating my body. And so I just want to say, even though I was on a medication that really managed my condition, I was concerned about injecting my body, year after year. And now it had been 10 years of these chemicals. So having been on this lovely little product here for 4 years, I decided to give my body a break from the prescription injection. And, the first month went by and I felt great. The next month went by and the next and the next. And I was actually able to drastically reduce my medication and came off of it. And, I felt great. So what? I feel great. Who doesn't want to feel great? But the proof is in the labs, right? So my doctor ran all my blood work like he normally did every 6 months. And the results were amazing. And I know we don't want to say that we cure or treat or heal, but I'm just giving you the facts about my experience. And so for the past 7 years, I've been taking this Tri-Synergizer and have so much energy. I'm 56 years old now. I ski every year. And some of my younger colleagues just say, I don't know how you do it because my job has me working all day and going to events all night. And I'm just always upbeat and full of energy. And I'm just so grateful for Marci and really for LifeVantage and all that they're doing in their research in nutrigenomics and for Protandim Trisynergizer. It's really, impacted my life and my kids' life. So thank you for giving me a chance to share.
Thank you.
My story.
Oh my gosh. Thank you, Lisa, for sharing with us. You know what? It's my honor. It's like people do not know about this. If you're watching this, you probably have never heard of this before. These are just individuals living their, authentic lives. And, it's just not easy today because we are under attack and we are looking for solutions. So thank you for sharing with us your experience, Lisa.
Yeah.
I'm so happy. And I know it just keeps getting better and better and better for you. All right. Well, we're going to go to Bismarck, North Dakota. I've never been there, but there's a beautiful woman there who's got 5 grown children and multiple grandchildren. And as she's continued to age, she is getting younger and younger on the inside. And I've invited Susan Sweeters to come in and just share a little bit about her, briefly her experience with us. And we've got one more amazing guest after Susan, and we'll wrap this up. Okay, Susan.
Hi, Marci. Thank you so much. Hi, I'm really excited to share tonight. Activation was introduced to me about 5 years ago. And after I started reading testimonials, all I could think of was like, I want those activators in my body. Exercise and nutrition has always been an interest of mine, and recognizing that I have some control in the way my body performs. And I realized that activation was just another piece to my wellness puzzle. My husband and I like to call it being proactive in our wellness versus waiting to be reactive in our sickness. And so we are both currently on the Tri-Synergizer, all 3 activators, the activating collagen and the activating brain drink, the Axio, which we absolutely love. My husband has a quick little story on the collagen. He fell this last winter in January and cracked a couple ribs. And he doubled up on his activating collagen and a couple of the other activators within 5 days. 5 days. He said to me, I feel great. And we checked with the functional medicine doctor, and she said, yes, this could actually be helping him heal that quickly. That was pretty phenomenal. I'm also using the skincare products. I had pretty much a reverse working with my dermatologist on some issues that we were concerned about. So I am just like, that we just had some nice results. Anyway, so, we had the opportunity to watch our parents as they aged, and we didn't exactly get the results. We're not hoping to repeat that. They had one diagnosis after another, which led to one medication after another, which just ended up meaning they were on like 8, 9, 10 different medications when they passed away. We are choosing to look a different way, and we want to look at general wellness in a more proactive way. We believe that activation is putting our body into balance, and it's allowing for greater natural healing and allowing us then to fire on all cylinders and helping us to rise to the occasion of aging and rise to the occasion of grandparenting, which we are super excited about.
Aww.
So I'll leave it at that.